like everybody is really into the next thing. So we've got a tie between the. I put a poll out, and I'm going to do it every week, probably around Tuesday or Wednesday of the week. Once I get about halfway done with the current topic, then I'm going to be asking you guys, because it takes about 3 or 4 days for for enough people to give me enough votes, because I got to have at least over 20 votes uh, in order to make a decision. But right now it's neck and neck between what the world looks like after the dollar and what is the other one? The federal homeless camps. Um, I don't know how. I don't know if I can do a full 5 video series on it, but I think I can. It will take a moment, but I think that this is something that is coming next. It's being a current event. And so I'm usually okay. I was gonna say usually we have a bunch of people in here by now. Um, and usually, there's like 3 or 4 waiting, and as of lately, there really hasn't been anybody. Mm. I am trying to, I'm trying to figure this out. But anyways, good morning, Matthew. Nice to see you. Who else is here? We got Jeremy here. We got Matthew here. I haven't seen Beth this morning. I hope she's here. Um, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, for sure, I'm gonna make sure that I have the public live stream. Good morning, Edward. I'm gonna make sure that the public live stream is over here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That way, I have Monday, Wednesday, Friday to really kind of have a behind the scenes talk with you guys. One of the questions that I am curious about, because I'm watching my views, part of it is my lack of patience and expecting to get pushed out. I was kind of screwing myself over when I was putting out. The like 4 and 5 videos a day. I mean, I was putting out like 20 pieces of content a week for about 2 weeks there. But the thing is, I found out that YouTube only really wants you to put out about 3. Anything after 3, they stop sending notifications. So if I put out 3 videos, nobody gets notifications of my live streams. If I do, I have to be careful. I can only put 3 pieces of content on YouTube per day. Otherwise, they stop pushing it out. And so therefore it's like, okay, I'm putting up this content, and then I'm kind of getting that false sense of insecurity because I don't know if my audience likes it or not because it's not pushing it out. Not only that, the topics that I've been talking about, they're not political. People will interpret it as political, but it's not political. If you notice, what I'm doing is taking current events and giving the historical account of how this stuff happened. Some of it is political history. Some of it is legal history. Some of it is, just regular history. But there's a lot of different, there's histories, all different parts. And so I don't really want to be seen as a political channel because I'm not. I don't like either candidate, so therefore I cannot be political because I'm too. I'm not. I don't want to, choose one team or the other. And so because I don't do that, I stay away from the politics. Although I can kind of use history or use current events and cause and effect to be able to draw out conclusions. I don't really see it as political. Do you guys see that type of stuff as political? Like, would you interpret that as political? Do I have like a weird definition of political? Because I want to make sure that I'm not, I don't really want to be political. Yeah, we're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about Biden. We're going to talk about past presidents. We're going to talk about American history. And you can't talk about history without involving the political environment, because the political environment is what shapes everything. The laws that are oppressing you are written by congressmen in Washington, D.C. They're not written by some random person, in the middle of nowhere. So, in a lot of ways, we kind of have to make sure that we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Politics plays a bigger part of our life, and yes, it's divisive. It didn't used to be, but that's the thing, is I don't want to be divisive. You tend to get political at times. Okay, mine said it's not really political, right versus left, because the story being told is a lot longer than 4 years. Okay, Bucknut, like, when do I get political? Because I want to, because it's going to, being political will deter sponsorships. if I go that route. Like I'm still in that limbo. Yeah, exactly. I don't like either. It's rich against people with less. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the easiest way to put it. It's the rich versus the poor. It's not the left versus the right. The rich just took over the Republican Party, and now they've gone over to the Democrat Party, and they just keep switching parties, to as each party gets into control. But they're pulling the strings of all parties. Um, so, well, I want to make sure because I know that I'm kind of like skirting around and I'm playing. I'm not necessarily playing with fire, but I don't want to be in a point where I'm so divisive that I can't take on any sponsors if somebody would like to sponsor. And because I mean, I you got to look at it this way. If somebody chooses to attach themselves to my content, what they're saying is that look, I don't want to be caught in the middle of left, right, political, any type of stuff like that. Why? Because it hurts their business. Look at what happened with Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney. The right, because they politicized it, the right pretty much bankrupted Bud Light over that process. And so no business wants to be tied to something along those lines. I mean, because it could be the end of their business if they make the wrong choice. Where versus they want it, they don't they can deal with a lot of other stuff, but the political side is generally where people where people start to back off. And so I'm trying to avoid that while still talking about it. And the direction, because at first we were talking about politics and current events and stuff like that. But like I said, I was putting out so much content that by putting that content out, I was hurting myself. So I got to figure out a way to put out something that's going to be a little bit more high quality. The way that I'm doing the script is extremely important. The next part of it, and that's kind of what I'm going to be working on next week. And so I have like a 4 day, I have a 4 day head start. I want to see if I can at least take one or two of the videos and really work on improving the videography. Okay. I think the channel started slowing when you did the AI stuff in regards to making money, all this money with AI. Then when following videos you need then in the following videos you need money. Why not do one of these money making options? I am. I mean, Bucknut, I've picked up a sponsor. I've picked up several members over on Patreon. I'm slowly building myself something that is not reliant on YouTube. By getting the sponsorship with Stephanie. What's up, Beth? When getting the sponsorship with Stephanie, that kind of freed me up because up until that point in time, I was going through the transition and I wasn't even getting a lot of views before the whole AI stuff. And the thing is I have my postcards. I've tried that. I've marketed that. I have my merchandise. I've tried that. I've marketed that. I have my memberships. I'm trying that. I'm marketing that. I have sponsorships. I try that. I'm marketing that. Hit the limit for text. Oh, okay. And the document the process for content, go deeper. Okay, hold on. I think making the channel start selling those with why not do one of those money making options and document the process for content, go deeper. Okay. Well, it seems like here's the thing. Even as I was going through my homeless topics, I was putting out videos about how to not only make money online, what I was doing to make money online, and how I was able to make money being homeless and how it was working out for me. I never really got any traction. That's why I built the Business for Beginners channel, is because the audience that I attracted really isn't into the whole digital computer stuff, because most of the people that have been following this channel are my age or older, essentially. For the most time, my demographics have been about 60% of my channel was 35 to 65 plus. So what's up, TJ? So I hit the limit for text. Okay. So yeah, I'm okay. I have to pick a full on direction. Okay. when I asked everybody, I can't keep going all over the place. So I talked about homelessness. Great. Okay, that chapter of my life is over. What is the next chapter of my life that's going to not only build an audience, but allow me to talk about the things that I'm passionate about? Because if I'm not passionate about it, I'm going to get bored and I'm not going to want to do it for very much longer. I am still passionate about the homeless issue. But the problem with the homeless issue is that nobody really wants to attach their name to a homeless man because they're considered lazy bums, drug addicts, mental health people. It's just a matter of time before they either relapse or end up in a mental hospital. And so, therefore, because of the stigma tied to it and the lifestyle, because it's considered you're breaking the law just being homeless. You're trespassing at all times because everything's private. So therefore, they're supporting what they consider a low level criminal, and so therefore that deters people. Versus when now I'm here, I've got the homestead. I am now. It's taken me 6 months to get to a point where I can start working on funding. Yeah, I kind of had to have one of those mornings, Beth. I'm getting to that point where like now I have funding to be able to do the projects because now that I've got the sponsorship through Stephanie, that takes the cash that was going to her, and puts more cash in my pocket, because that just things are offsetting each other. Okay, so just that opens up the door so that now I can start looking at affording, the garden, start building a fence, start getting livestock, start doing those things. So that's what I'm saying. Going to more show people how it works. Looking from the outside, it doesn't seem like it's effective since you're not showing the success. Pick a path, go down, and stick. Yes, with it, go deeper into it, not just surface level stuff. Yes. Well, that's why. Okay, so when I asked the community, because I said I was doing the AI stuff and then I was doing the news and the current events, and everybody kept asking me about current events. So I said, okay, fine, let's go ahead and move to current events. That's what the audience wants. Okay, so now I'm doing current events. It seemed like I had a really good interest for the first week or two, and then after that, it dropped off. Same thing with the AI thing that I did. I had an interest in it for about 2 weeks, and then it dropped off. And even when I was trying to do like homesteading and stuff like that, once I got to here to the property, I dropped off. I used to get like about 40 to 50,000 views per month, and I dropped down. My bottom was about 20 to 25,000 views. Okay. And so since I got off trail, I have been trying to find the new direction. It took me it took me about 6 to 9 months to find my direction, um, to actually build the channel, once it was, but it didn't happen till I was monetized. That's the weird thing. So I spent, actually, yeah, I spent about a year. At first, I thought I was teaching people about how to be homeless and stuff like this, and and then I just started documenting my journey and just talking about the things I wanted to talk to, and so I was kind of all over the place. It was kind of like a daily vlog. And what's up, Matt? It was a daily vlog, and I was on trail, so therefore it was interesting. I had interesting background, as you see. Like last night, it rained like cats and dogs, and it's going to be raining today, so I can't really go outside, and I kind of got to worry about this background versus like having the trees and all the niceness and stuff like that. Plus the wind out here, it's crazy. A few days a week, I still got to come inside, so people were more interested in my background than they were in what I was doing. And so now I'm trying to figure out that path. Where does my knowledge intersect with with the content that you guys like? The current audience I have is great, and you guys I want to keep, but I want to transition as many of you over into the new way. But I need, I don't. It's hard sometimes to take it, but I still do need constructive feedback, because if I've got everybody that likes everything that I do, then I will never grow. And I will think, I will be the emperor with no clothes. And so, I have to really think about, how do I grow this into something else? Yes, I'm going to go deeper into the whole money thing. That's, like I said, that's what I built. That's what I'm building business for beginners for, because I want to show the struggles of starting a business, plus not only just the struggles of it, but the slow success that you have if you're building something with a strong foundation. Because what a lot of people don't realize is when you start something, if you get off to a fast start, you don't have a solid foundation. Any moment, as soon as that fast start goes, it could go away. It's like getting a viral video. Great, you get paid on it for about 2 months, and then it goes away, and you got to go back to normal. And all of a sudden, you've got sticker shock because you saw one amount of money, and now you see this amount of money, and you're like, what the hell? You try to recreate the situation, and so therefore, like a drug addict, you're now, the YouTube views become, and the virality becomes your heroin. When you were on the streets. Yes, but you know what, Matt? I'm not going to be on the streets for the rest of my life. I've reached a point where it's like, okay, I thought I might be, and I kind of, but the thing is, the way the things turned out and the way that my body wore down, I promised Sam that I would get her off the streets in a year. You know what? I got her off the streets in a year. Okay. And so therefore I followed through on my promise with Sam. And I'm almost 45 years old. I don't need to be out there, ducking and dodging. Now Donald Trump wants to put us in camps. Oh yeah, I want to go out there and duck and dodge that. Now, I mean, I could do it on a limited basis, but there comes a point when you have to get off the streets. And what is the next chapter of my life? I love history. If you need, you should invite Alfred back. Um, no, because Alfred wasn't giving constructive criticism. He was just being downright malicious. He was trying to be like, I'm right, you're wrong, instead of actually giving me constructive criticism. There are some people that give constructive criticism, and I listen to it. I see it in the comments from time to time, and if you notice, sometimes there'll be a comment and then I'll make the change because it's like, okay, that's a good idea, you know. But there are a lot of people out there that want to be militant, and that was kind of where Alfred went. It was more like I'm right, you're wrong. When you call my subscribers sycophants, when you wish that some teenagers come up and beat me up with a billy club because I didn't take a gift that you wanted, that's not constructive criticism. That's an asshole. Okay. It's not even an asshole that cares. It's an asshole with something wrong going on up here. Do day trip once a month, perhaps interesting spot, beautiful lookout. I don't know. Historical spot, or just get a place. Make pancakes and bacon. Oh, that's what I had for breakfast this morning. Pancakes, bacon, and eggs. I I don't know. People keeps, I don't know. Maybe it was the people that really didn't that kind of turned on me to begin with. Alfred and Bushcraft were both telling me how nobody wants to watch you cook breakfast. You need to do something better. You're not even da 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 da. I mean, that's kind of, both of them were saying this to me on the back end. So, I enjoy when you speak on your life and daily stuff. I watch everything for the views and chat. I'd rather watch your work around the homestead than news. That's just me, though, because I already watch a lot of news and world events. Okay, I don't have a lot to show, Bucknut. This is what you're telling me, because I've always listened to your advice, because you always, Bucknut probably gives me some of the best criticism, by the way. If you ever notice, anytime Bucknut says something, there's probably like an 80 to 90% effort to move in the direction he suggests, because yeah, he's been here for, and he's, like I said, he offers me constructive criticism. But yeah, Bucknut, kind of help me. Have you been to Petra? Dude, until I have some form of transportation or a way to get there. Plus, Sam decided to chew a hole in my hammock. And so therefore I need to replace my hammock. And being out here, I could not, I'd have to sleep on the ground. So that means I'd need a tent and a sleeping pad before I went out there. I'm getting old. I want some comforts. Have you been, okay. Maybe some gardening. Well, now that I've got the sponsorship, now that I can do that. So maybe instead, okay. Yeah, and I think it would kind of move the channel in the right direction, because yeah, I mean, I don't really want to do news, but I do love history. So Alfred is the one who told you to start cooking content. You're like, actually, I can show you the text messages, Josh, where he tells me nobody wants to, and he was the one that made me feel self-conscious about eating my dinner after cooking it. So yeah, no, Josh, I'm not lying. So, it's hard on us old people. Yes. But yeah. Mm. Yeah. That was the thing. That was kind of why I started getting away from it, because people started commenting about how they didn't like, how they didn't, nobody wants to watch some dude just sit there and cook. And Alfred was one of the people that said that to me after. Yeah, you're right. He was the one that told me to do that. But, on the back end, he was saying things that were different than he was saying on the front end. That I can guarantee. Yeah, maybe 2 kinds of cheese. Ooh. Oh, never underestimate the power of well-cooked grilled cheese sandwich. Oh, dude, a good, you know what? That was like Farm Girl. That was her favorite thing, and I made a grilled cheese sandwich that was so perfectly cooked. But I use a little bit more butter than everybody else because that's kind of what makes it golden brown to begin with. Oh yeah. So, but okay, so Bucknut, let's get back to this. I wanna understand what you're saying. So watch a lot of news. Okay. Um so so then maybe okay then, because everybody seems to like I love your personality in the next chapter in your life. Okay, so everybody um seems to like the fact that I do stuff around the property and stuff like that. And well, the wind is doing good. We had about 4 o'clock this morning. We had a huge downpour. White and yellow American, don't spare the butter. You're lying still. You didn't say they cook. Microphone. Maybe you said things differently on the back end because you just wanting to correct you. Well, Josh, I know the truth. You don't. Listening to people eat much different than watching them eat. No, Josh. I know for a fact. So either I don't know. So I mean, I'm not gonna fucking sit there and post the text messages because it's private stuff. But if you really want to call it out, I will call it out. But whatever. That's a moot subject. We're moved past that. Okay. So, but anyways, more butter sounds like a winner. White and yellow American. Okay. Is different than describing right now. Oh wait, now you're talking about grilled cheese. Okay. Maybe go live during the next downpour. People like drama. I don't want the drama. That's the thing. And the thing is I try and keep away from it. I'd rather watch you cook and eat while telling about your day than about anything else. That, along with chat, makes me happy. Okay, fine. I think I will take that, Bucknut. So instead of doing current events, because I mean, so do you still, what about the deep dives that I do? The ones that I've been doing on current events. How do you guys, people seem to like that? At least the votes say that people are interested in it. I get quite a bit of engagement and quick engagement on putting these topics out. But I'm not getting pushed out by the YouTube algorithm. It's only staying within my subscriber base. So do you guys really like it, or do you guys think that I could do something different? And by the way, the Friday thing is going to stay. With my old man, that's going to stay. But I don't think I want to cook dinner because again, I don't. People made me self conscious about it. Something different. That sounds offbeat, but what about a series? Learning to meditate as you're sitting still about 20 minutes meditating. TJ, uh, that's no, I'm not gonna. That's the I struggle to meditate, but yeah, something else different. More on how to pick up chicks. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Keep current events, but maybe 1 or 2 committed days. Mm, huh. Okay. Well, I'm not going to. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna do this. Um, let's do this. There we go. I'm tired of talking about this whole Alfred thing. I'm not gonna put out because, like I said, it's private. And even if he gives me permission, I'm not going to take the permission. I'm done with the drama. You know, and it seems like, you know, yeah, no, I'm done. Okay. I'm going to move on. I gave Alfred multiple chances. And when he finally did what he did, I called him out on it. I don't lie. I've got the text messages to prove it, but I'm not going to go and put all this shit out because I don't want the fucking drama. Okay, that's the truth. Whether it's bushcraft and his cronies or Alfred, and now he's creating multiple accounts and all this other shit. I'm tired of it. I gave you chances. I told you to go away, and now I'm gonna start getting hostile. So I'm just I don't have, like, you don't understand, like the amount of stress that the drama puts on me basically makes me want to crawl out of my skin. When people get confrontational, aggressive, or just downright belittling, I don't want to be around those people because it's drama, it's stressful. And I'm not I've got enough negativity in my life, just from all the stuff that I've had to experience over the years, that I don't really want to have too much of it in this. I try and keep this positive. I try and keep this on a good note. And you know, I don't and I've said since the beginning, you know, I will take personal attacks up to a certain point. Do not harass or go after my subscribers at that point in time. That's a line too far. And that's kind of what I do, but I want to leave it the fuck alone. Okay, because I don't need the extra stress. Okay. And anyways, moving along sounds good. Best opinion. Yes, I agree. I like the current event coverage, but it's not working. Modify the plan. Um, Friday night lights, regular feature. Good idea. Yes. An open poetry forum every Wednesday. Yeah. Deep dives are good if you want to do that. Don't pander to people. Your passion will bring in the audience. Okay, because this is my passion. I am a history nut. Okay, you think that what I'm doing is new with the whole current events and the deep dive. You should go watch What If Alt Hist. What If Alt Hist, man. I came across that channel, and it was like soul or food for the soul. It was so good. Okay. Um it was so good. You know, and it was something that I really, really enjoy. And I have my own knowledge on certain subjects. And I mean, I can tie in history and stuff like that to current events. So maybe instead of doing one 5 video series, I do one long, maybe 45-minute to an hour series that or 45 to an hour minute video. Therefore, I'm getting my passion out of the way. And for those, but the thing is I don't want to have a split audience. That's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. Um, I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to drama is overrated indeed. Yes, I don't history with Professor Tech. Yeah, I just want to live. True Jeremy. Deep dives. Yes, but you know what? You're right. You're right, Bucknut. But I gotta I okay. Um so I guess this is where I sit and I ponder for the next 2 days then. And I really think about it because I got to figure out a direction. Where do I want to go? Having Stephanie gives me the opportunity to move in a direction that I want to move, and to be able to have the autonomy to do it without fear of I'm getting freedom. Whether you realize it or not, I'm getting freedom. That's the rainbow. Okay. Whether you realize it or not, I'm getting freedom. Freedom to speak and to share what it is that I want to share. I did that when I was on trail, until it got to a point where I was like, I almost felt like I was stuck. And I don't want to be, it's not that I don't want to be stuck. It's just that I evolve. You know, things like as life evolves, as I get this homestead up, I'm probably gonna, yeah, my content will probably gear more towards here's your challenge. Getting new viewers who see you as a traveler need to figure out that you know what you're talking about. How do you do that? That's the problem. Why should the average YouTube viewer take you seriously? Um, because I've got the experience to back it up. I don't talk about anything that I actually have zero experience in. When I talk about, running legal processes, I talk about the processes that I've done and the successes that I've had. Um, uh, you know, that's one thing. So I mean, if I've seen people that, like, I've met billionaires that look homeless. Um, if you judge a book by its cover, you're shorting yourself. I understand. Oh yeah, it's a traveler. What experience does he have? Well, I'm giving real world. Um, I'm giving real world experience that I've had that I'm sharing with you to show you how I was able to overcome the situation, and that's kind of been the way it is. And that's where the disconnect is. It's like, how is it that I don't have authority? People are too focused on my status, my social status, than the knowledge in which I have, because your social status means nothing about knowledge. Some people, they would rather live a specific lifestyle. There are plenty of people that live just to be homeless because for them, that's their style. Does that mean that they have anything less to offer? No. People are too busy judging a book by its cover and discounting people that could make a major change in their life because they're too busy worrying about, oh, well, you're just a homeless person. Well, you know what? That's the world, and that's the uphill battle that I've got to face. And so, on one hand, I'm proud of my homeless roots, in the sense that it taught me and gave me all the skills, all the needed tools, everything that I needed to be able to, um, to be able to, uh, uh, everything I needed to be able to do that. Okay, so, um, with that being said, it just, I'm proud of it, but that's where my experience comes from, my survival experience. Most people do it in theory. They sit, they watch a YouTube video, they buy some gear, they like, I watched a guy, now I know how to do it. Most people don't really know how to experience it because, when you first talk about going homeless, the first time you're ever homeless, you're going to bring everything in the kitchen sink, and it's going to take you. Um, yes, I understand that, Bucknut. Right or wrong, people judge. That's how it is with so many options for entertainment, learning. Yeah, but the thing is, the amount of people who don't judge are so few because the overwhelming majority of people, that's the way we're brought up, is whether we realize it or not, we're in a caste system because your authority, your integrity, your character is not determined by merit. It is determined by social status. And I thought we were America. Feelings aren't facts. Yes, exactly. Speaking of, but that's just my opinion. Um, but yeah, and I don't know how to overcome it. Setting up your new homesteading site, success, failures, all of it counts as good. Beth's opinion. Okay, all right. Um, all right. What you said is my point. People watch you type a video and they think they're experts. You are the videos they watch to learn. um, yes, okay. But the thing is, if as I'm watching people and showing people my authority, they're looking at me going, "You're a homeless man. Why should I listen to you?" Now, preppers tend to listen to me when I talk about homeless survival because at that point in time, they're looking for that information so that they can understand how to bug out much better. That's kind of the way I started, and it didn't. It took me a long time to get pretty far. Just on that, because there's very few people that are really interested in it. Um, Alex Hormozy, he calls it edutainment. Okay. And this is something that I've kind of wanted to move towards. And I think that I think that I'm going to work on that and figure out a way to hone everything that I'm doing into one solid message without splitting my audience. But because the last thing I want to do is split my audience. which is I've got some that are here for my history, and then I've got some that are here for my homesteading, and then some that are here for that. And so you've got this large amount of subscribers, but only maybe a third are going in. And so therefore it's not necessarily even a false sense of security. It's more like um, a an untrue representation of the type of influence that you have. That's kind of my opinion on that. Feel bad about themselves. It's like the mug says, you aren't a harsh critic of yourself, you know. Um, well, we are our own harshest critics. That's why I said I don't need anybody else to be harsh on me. I need people to help me with solutions. I'm hard enough on myself. Um, I'm I'm never gonna be satisfied with where I'm at because I always want to do better, be better, and go somewhere better. I'm always trying to improve myself. And so therefore that's where the harsh critique comes from. False critics, their feelings are wrong. Okay, but I I don't, I'm trying not to have to rebuild my channel, but I feel that I've gone all, this is what I did for probably about a good 9 months with my channel before I finally took it to a point where I got it monetized. It wasn't until I started taking on the homeless issue that I got it monetized. But the thing is, there's only like maybe 200,000 searches per month for the homeless issue. And most of that stuff goes to like invisible people and you know, like channels like that versus, or the news. Like if you search homelessness on YouTube, you won't see homeless content creators. You'll see news. You'll see invisible people. You won't see any homeless content creators talking about homelessness. It's very few people that are actually there. I'm here for the yoga and string bikini tuck videos. Thanks, Grease. I come to this channel because your history, birds of a feather flock together. Yes. And yeah, and I also listen to you a lot too. When you bitched at me about AI, that was kind of like my final thing. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I need to stop. Okay. But and I'm kind of glad I did, because what I found out, I don't want to be, what's up, occult? What I found out about AI as I've gotten deeper into the subject, I kind of am glad, because I would have hated to lead everybody to the slaughter. That would have sucked. Um, okay. Okay. What you said, my point, people. Okay. So, let's just see, legit attempts setting up new homesteading site success. Okay. Um, so I will continue my passion. Um, so here's, I will continue my passion with something. So what do you guys think about this? Because I do need to build an off. I can't rely on YouTube. I need to get off of YouTube. Um, trials and tribulations. Yes. Well, those of you that are sticking through all this, it's much appreciated. You know. But anyways. All right. But I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I really am. Because on one hand, I want to be as independent as possible. Um, I love having a sponsorship, but like anything, all good things come and all good things go. And if you're not preparing and planning for things to come to an end, for the next stage, for the next chapter, for the next project, because you know, Stephanie could be with me for the duration of the channel. Stephanie could be with me for 2 years. It just, things change, directions change. Today, everything's great, but tomorrow, you know, the way that business is going, maybe it might work in a different way for her. Okay. And so, any sponsor that I bring on, I have to have that as a thought in the back of my head. And so, how do I create my independence? By building an off platform audience that allows me the freedom and the autonomy to be able to cover my basics, do my projects. Well, in a lot of ways, they are, what's the word? In a lot of ways, they are, they're sponsoring, they're showing faith in me. They're sponsoring me in whether it be a YouTube membership or a Patreon membership or an actual business sponsorship. Um, you know, and all that other stuff. Okay, let's see here. Today, prayers, blessings for the festival. Okay, so my father, is intensive care with sepsis. Wow. Today I'm freaking out. Please join. Well, Patriot, my thoughts are with your father, and I hope that all goes well. And I'm right, and I enjoy seeing people grow. It's about the human experience. Okay, so then here, let me ask you this. Okay, um, okay, let me, yeah, okay, let me ask you this. You guys are more interested in my journey than the topics that I talk about. You want to know about my life, what I do on a daily basis. You want to know about my daily tasks. That's what you really want to know. Is that like because like I can't keep changing. I'm willing to change, but this is if I change, this has got to be the last time because I need to figure out an exact path because I don't want to squander this opportunity with Stephanie by having the opportunity to have this ability to really like spread my wings and get things going in the right direction. Okay, so I don't want to squander, but if I make this change, whatever change I do has to be permanent, and there's no other change, sink or fail. This is going to be what I got to do. I can't keep because that the reason why I moved is because everyone's like, yeah, we want current events. I think you wanted current events over AI over everything. Like, what is the most, like, what would draw you to every single one of my videos? What do you find the most entertaining about all the different types of content I've done? I mean, I'm not going to be on trail. I'm not going to be homeless. I can talk about the homeless subject because I've been there. Okay. I can talk about survival because I've been there. I can talk about homesteading because I'm doing it. So, what is it that you guys like most? Bucknuts pretty much chimed in and said, that's what he wants is he wants to know more about my daily life, the daily life of being a homesteader, more of a daily life of all that stuff. Okay. Is that really what you guys are into? And are you wanting videos like, do I have to be doing something like, do I have to like, okay, today we're going to be building a fence. Okay. Sometimes I just like, if I'm going to do something like that, I'd rather just do like a short little video of like, hey, today I built a fence, da, 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 or talk about it in my video. Yeah. Like I've built this fence, da, 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 but showing my process of doing it. I would rather have that be something that is not live. Okay. So in the that's the next question. So I could sit there and show, okay, guys, this is what I'm doing today. Okay, but then do I the then I'm doing 2 live streams and a video a day, at least until I can get up to about 3 to 5,000 views per video. Then I can go down to 1 video a week. Being able to relate to someone is nice, and current events is nice. So therefore, we keep the morning as open topics. You want to talk about whatever you want to talk about, we get to talk about. So therefore, I need you guys to kind of. I'm gonna need to start coming with. I need to start. I need to kind of figure out a topic that works with everything that it kind of gets engagement and stuff like that. Mm. No, it's I like live streams because I like the personal interaction. That's my inner salesman. Developing relationships with people is much easier for me to do and to build and like if I've got 1,000 people in here, I'm going to try and get to know 1,000 people. I may not know them all. I'll know the ones that are probably the most the ones that make the most noise as far as like how often I see them in chat or the value of the questions and stuff like that they get. But I have this goal that I don't need like 10,000 people on at the concurrent viewers. I want to get to anywhere between 500 to 1,000 concurrent viewers, and I want to know every single one of them. I know every one of you guys. If you've noticed, I will sometimes I'll see new people that come in, but I've seen them in other videos in their comments because I remember who comments. I start the more I see you, the more I understand who you are. So interaction with the chat may be the most important. Yes. When we see the interview you did, when will we see the interview you did yesterday? Interview. I didn't do an interview yesterday. Um, you're talking about Rastaman. That was the last interview I was supposed to go do. And you guys know how that turned out. Okay, interaction with chat may be the most important thing. Okay, so that sounds like, so in the morning, I kind of talk about what, okay, so I go back to what I was originally trying to do to begin with. But here's the thing. When it's windy out, when the thing is I can, since I can do more stuff around here if I'm doing content around the stuff that I'm doing. So therefore I get to take two birds with one stone, and therefore that works. Is that okay? So therefore I do a morning live stream, but I'm probably going to keep it under, I'm going to definitely keep it under an hour, probably closer to 30 to 45 minutes. That way I'm not burning out other content that I'm doing. Put up a daily vlog during the day of kind of like all the different tasks that I accomplish. So that will come out the next day. So everything's going to be in the day in the rears. And then in the evening, I'm not going to necessarily cook dinner, but we're just going to kind of keep it open. We're going to probably sit in the trailer, stuff like that. Because if you know, by that time of day, by 5 o'clock, it's starting to cool down. Well, actually, no, as it gets later in the year, it's not going to cool down. But, over the year, like if you look at it, about 5 o'clock is kind of when everything cools down around here. It's 8 o'clock East Coast. So does that sound like something that you guys are into? So if I started doing something like that, it's my two goals are to have at least a 35% returning viewer rate. I want a majority of my views to come from viewers, but I also want the other 65% to come from new viewers, because that tells me that I'm being pushed out. That tells me that I'm doing relevant content. That means I'm growing, because you have an attrition that happens every day. I lose 5 to 10 subscribers every day, and I gain 10 to 15 subscribers every day, because YouTube does it. Their accounts delete, and so therefore I lose it, or they just automatically unsubscribe, which is perfectly fine. Basically, you just have to find the one super rich viewer. I don't. Yeah, but see, that's kind of contradiction to to my ethos, TJ. When I was, let's see, I was what? Um, I was dating a girl. I'd been like 5 years without going to the hospital. It was the longest stint I'd ever been without going to the hospital. And she had to go into the crisis center because she was having a meltdown. And so I took her to the crisis center. And while she was in there talking to the doctor and getting sussed out, because she was just, yeah, basically a hysterectomy messed her up in the head so much that it sent her bipolar over the edge. And yeah, I ended up having to deal with that. That wasn't fun. But I still didn't end up in the hospital. And I asked the guy, I called one of the counselors over and I asked him, I said, um, well, yeah, my first 11 years, I was hospitalized 11 times. I haven't been hospitalized in over 15 years. Okay. Or actually almost 15 years. 2011 was the last time I was hospitalized. Um, but the thing was, I asked him, I said, why? And I told him how I changed my lifestyle. I become a free man. I started becoming self-sufficient, independent, standing on my own 2 feet. Okay. It was something that I really, really liked. And for some reason, what he was explaining to me is that the way that my PTSD works is that for my own safety and for my own sanity, being self-sufficient, being outside the system is more healthy for me than to kind of be a part of the system, because that's what was destroying me to begin with, because of how contradictory it was, how volatile it was. Whereas by me being self-sufficient, it gave me more control over my environment, who I was, what I did, and everything else like that. So I being dependent on one person is it's scary as hell for me. I can't, it's not something that I like to do. But it is. I like it. Coffee with Tuck, homesteading update vlog, evening chat with Tuck. Okay, right. Wish we could relax into find joy along the way. Having control over my environment. So knowing that this property, that I'm not going to have to worry about this property, is probably the biggest impact that one person could make in my life. At this stage in my life, Stephanie's made the biggest impact possible. That's why I invited her to sponsor the channel. If you want to go check her out at openairproperties.net, go check her out. But she made a huge difference in my life. Not just because of the sponsorship. No, if it wasn't for her, people like me would never have a place to go. The reason why homelessness is expanding is because the inexpensive, the more cost-effective options are being drowned out. They're being drowned out, so therefore the low-income person has to pay astronomical amounts of money to be able to survive in the system, and then they cannot afford it. So to have somebody that can have something that is affordable, that will tell you, all these good things, that will give you something affordable that can be yours, that you never have to worry about. Because once I pay off the note, okay, because I'm still making payments on it. Once I pay off the note, then I have the peace of mind knowing that I will never be homeless again, because I've always got a place to go. Okay, I won't have to, like, if my income goes down to zero, that's fine. I can learn how to survive on zero income because I've got a place to stay. And that is the hardest part and the most important part about the battle of survival, is having a place to stay. Once this property's paid off, depending upon how I'm doing, I'm going to buy property in another state from Stephanie. Not because I plan on moving there, but in case shit goes south here, I can go to another place and I've got another place to stay. Okay. And I might end up buying one in each state that she has, just for that reason. In case things get hairy, I need to have another place to go that is my home, that I cannot be run off of. So that is the role. So as we have a full-on economic collapse, somebody like Stephanie is going to be extremely important. People will not be able to survive. You could take your savings, you could take your 401k, spend $10,000 to $12,000 on a piece of land, so when the whole shit show comes to an end, you're not caught with your pants down. That is, and that is so much better than waiting until the last minute when you can't afford rent, and now you're trying to figure out a job and go off grid. Whereas if you already own the property, when you go off grid, because you took your 401k, you took your savings, you decided to live in your car for 6 months and use all the income from that to make a full-on payment to Stephanie and buy the land outright. Now you got a place to go. Nobody can kick you off. You are safe. You are home free. You can build your garden. You can get your livestock. You can become self-sufficient. So as the system crumbles even more, you no longer have to worry about the outside influences, such as the supply chain. This is how the poor survived the Great Depression, is because they weren't a part of the system. They were able to live outside the system. But we don't have enough people on farmland. And so it's going to get really scary really quick. And I hope that when this whole shit show comes to a shit show, that I'm able to hold on to my land. But also, I'm also not willing to spill, endless amounts of blood to protect this land. That's why I would go to a different property. Because the thing is I don't want to be that person. I don't need to live with the nightmares of those people's desperation. Huh. Okay, did it just go a black screen for you guys? That was weird. I think YouTube told me I crossed a line. I wonder what about. Huh, did you guys see that black screen? Yeah, it buffered for about 10 seconds. Yeah, I probably said something I wasn't supposed to, because it went dark on my end. I've never seen that before. That is kind of scary. You don't even know. The goalposts are moving so much, you don't even know whether or not you're saying something you should or shouldn't. They'll let me get away with smoking a cigarette on a live stream, but they won't let me get away with saying certain words, because words are powerful. Words can open up your mind. That I think was actual censorship. It did. Okay. Um, I think that you know, I don't know. But anyways, guys, we're getting close to that hour. So I've got some things to think about how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna finish out this 5 video series. Wasn't a curse word. Nope. It was talking about the possible atrocities of an economic collapse and defending your land. We'll just leave it at that because I think I know what word I used. But anyways, yes, subject matter. They're more worried about what you say, not what you do. Okay, yeah, you can't smoke a bowl while you're doing this, but you can smoke a cigarette. You can smoke a cigar. You can sit back and drink a scotch and smoke a cigar. Um, but it is what it is, because there are content creators I know that do that, and they got plenty of followers. YouTube doesn't censor them, but if they say the wrong thing, then you'll get censored, because information is key to controlling the populace. If you control the information, you control the narrative. If you control the narrative, then you control the people, and if you control the people, then they'll do anything you tell them to do because you controlled the narrative. And that is the scary part about being on social media. This is why I'm trying to get off of social media. I need to build an audience off of social media. If I have 100 to 200 people or even 1,000 people that come over to my off platform areas, that's all I need at that point in time. There's no need for me to even rely on social media, because at that point in time I'm doing plenty, and I'm doing good. Even at $5 a pop, I'm doing plenty. I mean, I only need like about 100 paid subscribers, and I have no need for social media whatsoever. I mean, because I keep my finances and my out of pocket expenses low, it would still finance me for everything that I need to do, and it would also allow me to deplatform so I can say what I want to say without fear of reprisal. Okay. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna let you go. Prayers and blessings for all health and wealth. Okay. Thanks for being here, guys. I will see you guys this evening, and we'll just do a regular update. Matthew, would you do me one favor though? Because you gave me 2 titles, one for the morning live stream and one for the evening live stream. I won't remember that. Will you please text that to me so that I can remember that? But anyways, guys, thanks for being here. I'll see you this evening.